we go. Facebook Live on the Help a Teacher Facebook page. Listen, man, I love this session. I love this time that we're going to spend together, because here's the deal. When teachers come into the profession, the vast majority of teachers, listen, I'm going to stumble around my words. I had some dental surgery a couple of days ago, so I'm going to babble for a second. I'm going to stumble around with my words. So here's the deal. When teachers come into this profession, you know what it is? A lot of teachers come in and they, not all of them, but lots of them had that idyllic scenario growing up where they had they were great at school, and academics came easy to them, and they were wonderful in school. They had great relationships with their teacher and this amazing supportive family, and they were involved in sports, and everything went well all through elementary, all through junior high, all through high school. And they thought, wow, let's just keep it going. They go to college, they study education, they come out, they're a teacher, and they show up in the classroom, and not everybody is like that. And the challenge is those kids that school doesn't really work for, and they're carrying around all these challenges in life. It's hard for them to explain what's going on in their life. And what I love about this session is our guest today is Austin Lanier. And Austin, he had everything in place for him to be successful in school, but things just didn't work out for him growing up. And he's going to tell us a story about all that he went through and why. And here's what's great about this guy is he gives a voice to all those kids that are struggling right now, and just they don't have the vocabulary and they don't have the life experience to explain themselves and what's happening in their heart, what's happening in their mind, what's happening in their soul. And so Austin Lanier, he's a friend of mine, and man, just a guy I look up to, and he's an awesome, just an inspiration in the lives of teachers and kids. And he does a great job at explaining what it's like to be one of those kids that has a lot of challenges going on and just trying to figure out the world. And so let's bring him on. Here we go. Austin Lanier, Facebook Live on the Help a Teacher Facebook page. What do you say, brother? How are you?
What's up, man? I'm doing great. How about yourself, man?
I'm good. Tell me about your day. Tell me what you accomplished today.
All right, man. Today I woke up at about 6 a.m. and I drove an hour to get to Alvin, Texas, which is about an hour away from where I'm at in Houston. And we did 3 assemblies at 3 different schools. So a whole bunch of packing up and moving to get to different schools. But man, we spoke to almost 3,000 kids today, I think. And it was amazing, man. Huge impact. I had a lot of fun doing it. So it was awesome, man.
You spoke to 3,000 kids, man. That's a big day. It's a full day.
Yeah. They were big assemblies, man. They like usually sometimes around 400. These were like pushing 1,000. I'm like, dang, man, it's crazy.
A bunch of kids in Alvin. I spoke there August ago, a year ago in August, and that's a great district. I love that district.
Yes, shout out to Alvin.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, listen, man, here's what I want to do is I want to take it back, and let's talk about when you're in school. And here's what I thought I'd do. I'm going to go through the years, starting in pre-K, and you tell me, and you describe the years, and you say, stop right there when we get to the year that was a bit challenging for you. Can you do it?
Be ready to stop a lot. Yeah. Are we talking about like when it was really bad, or when it was just like kind of bad, or what? Like, what's the level?
You tell me. You say you describe it as I go through. Let's go pre-K. Okay. How'd you do pre-K?
Don't remember it.
Okay, K.
That's kindergarten.
Yep.
Oh man, that was where it started, man. That's actually where I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was 6 years old, I believe, and put on medication because of my kindergarten teacher. I'm not mad. Shout out Miss Nelson. She was amazing and awesome. But she was just telling my parents, like, look, your boy needs some help. Something I can't help him with. He needs something else.
Well, I think the point of being in kindergarten is to be ADHD. Like, that's what kindergarten's about, man.
Yeah, which shows, like, part of the story is, like, she was like, I've been doing this for 10, 15 years, and I've never seen a kid, like, on his level type thing. So, I think it was, like, above and beyond. I don't think she's telling all the kindergartners to get on ADHD medicine, but I'll tell you what, like, I must have been wild.
Yeah. All right. So kindergarten, things are challenging. In first grade, tell me about it.
I don't think I remember too much about first and second grade. I mean, I do remember doing a couple impulsive, stupid things, but no, I kind of sailed through first and second.
And third grade, tell me what's going on.
Third grade, I went to a new school. I kind of sailed through third grade as well, man.
Yeah. And fourth grade?
Terrible.
Stop right there.
Fourth grade. Stop right there, bro. Terrible, man. I barely made it through fourth grade. I only lasted 1 year at that school. I changed schools a lot. If that says anything, my parents were constantly trying to like find the right match, you know. So I was at
Yeah.
my fourth grade school for 1 year and then shifted on. So
What happened in fourth grade, man? Tell me, like looking back now that you're an adult, can you think back in terms of what was happening in your life in the fourth grade, where like everything was just kind of going downhill?
man, to be quite honest, I bucked heads with my teacher. Like we had it out for each other.
Yeah. And then in terms of, so do you think it was more of a behavioral issue for you?
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm sure. Although it's interesting that I'm thinking about it now that I didn't have many problems in third grade. Like with my teacher in third grade, look, she was awesome. I remember her. But then like my fourth grade, I don't know if it was like a personality clash or something, or like maybe my behavior got worse in fourth grade. But no, fourth grade was pretty rough. I
How
remember.
were you doing academically through all this?
Man, I was in talented and gifted classes, which is funny. Like I was in all the advanced classes. So like my academics were on point. You know, my testing, I was always ahead in my classes. Like you know, the oftentimes like the highest on math. I remember learning like arithmetic and like the multiplication. I was always like I got that stuff and flew through it. I was, you know, usually at the top of the class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, and so things, so you, do you think at this point, like you got a reputation, like for being like a kid that's challenging to have in the classroom?
I wouldn't say a reputation as much because I don't think that all the teachers communicated and knew me, especially because I was changing schools so much. But I would say that I embraced the identity of being a problem child. And I embraced the identity of, you know what, it's me against the world. It's me against y'all. I'm going to do me and just jump into it.
Yeah, man. Here's the thing, we always talk about giving kids a reputation to live up to, and man,
Mhm.
that just speaks volumes. Like looking back on it now, hearing you say those words, I embrace the identity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that became who you were at that point. Like,
Mhm.
that is now your reality.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And so, man, in fourth grade, that you have this new identity about yourself, and it seems to me that starting now, does it feel, looking back, does it feel like that was the path that you decided because that's your identity? Like, okay, that's my path. Here we go.
Mm. Um, I think that really it developed a little bit. Like I didn't just jump head first. I'd say sixth grade is when that really like it just went all out.
Mhm.
But in fourth grade, like I was always going through different stuff. Like I remember I would go and leave class 30 minutes a week just to go and have like some doctors put little brain waves, like little gel things and monitor my brain waves, you know, while I'm playing video games. Just because of my severity of ADHD, they wanted to like monitor my brain and how it works when I'm focused on playing video games and stuff. So I kind of embraced like, okay, I'm different. Like there's something different about me, but it didn't jump full fledged into I'm just going to be a problem child and be as rebellious as I can be until I got to about sixth grade. And then that's when the fighting started. That's when I literally was like, you know, getting suspended from school and it just started getting a lot more serious.
Yeah. Do you think it was a matter of you were feeling at that point at such a young age that there was something different about you, or did you really internalize it at that age as something that's wrong with me?
Oh, absolutely. I think both. I'm like, yeah, some is different, but some is wrong. Like I'm a mistake. There's something wrong with me and I can't help it. So I might as well just act out.
Yeah, man. What it would, what I see in a classroom, lots of times, man, where there'd be a kid like, and then there's a kid like that, and then sometimes they see the evidence because anytime they get written up,
Mhm.
or even if they're yelled at, or even if they're like brought back on task in their reality, it's not,
Yeah.
it's not the teacher's reality or in the real world, but in that kid's reality, that's just more evidence that there's
Yeah.
something wrong with them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then there's also, I mean, there's the fact because I can remember like my name was on the board more than anybody else.
Oh yeah.
So like, that was the thing in our classroom. Like if you get your name on the board, oh man, you got problems. And then you
Yeah.
get a check mark next to it. And by the
Oh
end of the
Lord.
day, you got your name and a whole bunch of check marks.
Mine was a green card, yellow card, red card. And I'll tell you that I actually think they gave me the board in my fifth at the end of fifth grade. Like they just gave me the board like as a donation or something because mine stayed on red. I won the reward for the most red cards. So
Yeah. And then, man, in fifth grade, it's just more the same.
well, I tell you what, in fifth grade, I think my teacher was just really gifted with working with me. Like I remember it was like butting heads in fourth grade, like never on the same page. But then I think my fifth grade teacher just knew how to kind of like, okay, I see where he's at, so let me like find ways to kind of work around that. And I don't have any negative memories from fifth grade, to be honest.
Yeah. You
So
know,
isn't
that's
it weird how it bounced? Like fourth was terrible. Fifth grade, I mean, they gave me the board. Like I was on red cards a lot, but the teacher like was still very supportive and encouraging to me. I remember. So it's like it's different. And then sixth grade, it just went. That's when middle school started happening, and that's when like I'm having like 5 or 6 teachers now. You know, like a lot of different teachers.
right.
So
So maybe for you at fifth grade, I mean, you had that teacher. I think a lot of times, man, you know, there's this whole, there's a belief, it worked for me when I was a younger teacher, where like, don't tell me the history of this kid. Let me just figure it out on my own when this kid comes to me. Let's start brand new. And that worked when I was a younger teacher. But as a more seasoned veteran teacher, I was like, listen, man, I want to know the history so I can know how to love this kid. I can know how to teach this kid, and I can give this kid opportunities to be great to other teachers haven't given this kid. And it seems to me maybe that was the deal with your fifth grade teacher. They kind of knew what they were getting and they were ready for
very
you and
possible.
prepared.
Very possible.
And then you go to junior high and it's a whole different world because you don't have that one teacher building that relationship with you all day long. You
right.
get a whole bunch of part-time teachers going to get you for 48 minutes a day.
That's absolutely true.
Yeah, man. So sixth grade, tell me about it. What happened?
Man, sixth grade is when I really started kind of walking the line of like, okay, how much of what I do can I control and how much can I not control? I remember getting in trouble for things like tapping my pencil, you know what I mean? Or like tapping my foot or knocking my knee against the desk, like just habitually, just because my mind is racing. So I'm trying to like twiddle my fingers or something just so that I can actually focus when I'm doing that. And the teacher, I remember one particular, be like, stop tapping. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I literally don't even know that I'm tapping. And like, I'm getting kicked out of class for tapping and stuff. And that was stuff that I literally like couldn't control. And then, so that kind of built even more up against this me against y'all attitude. And then when it comes to like fighting and me, like fighting with other kids and stuff, like that was stuff that I could control. And that was just bad decisions that I made. But it kind of played into the fact that like, look, I'm not even getting along with my homeroom teacher. She just kicked me out for fighting, sorry, not fighting, but for tapping on my desk, you know what I mean? For clicking my pencil too much, and that's just stuff that I literally didn't even know I was doing.
I remember, being in the classroom, and I can remember yelling at kids or kids getting in trouble for something, and they're telling me they didn't do it, and I'm looking at them and I'm thinking that kid sincerely believes he didn't do it. Like, like that was like you and your tapping. You're thinking, man, I don't even know if I was tapping.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
That's good. So through junior high, man, did things consistently go downhill for you academically and as a student in school life?
No, I was still able to keep my, academics high in middle school. So I lasted 1 year in sixth grade and went to a new school. Matter of fact, like, I think like I was told not even to come back the last 3 weeks. They were like, yeah, he passed. Like, he's good. Like, in a kind way, like, find another school for him, please. So I did that. And then 7th and 8th grade, I was at another school. And that school, I mean, I had some troubles there, some behavior issues. I remember a couple of instances, but I really got into soccer at that time. So like, I was just so involved into athletics that helped balance me out a little bit. So my 7th and 8th grade year weren't even as bad as my 6th grade year.
Man, did your involvement in athletics, especially in soccer specifically, do you think that affect your engagement and your behavior in the classroom, where you're a little bit more focused because you're trying to focus because you had to pass and had you locking in academically so you could play athletically?
I don't really think, just being honest, it was never a matter of, am I going to fail this class? Like, that never crossed my mind. I'd done well, and it kind of just came naturally to me. I'm not going to sit there and say I studied every day. Like, I could, if I'm going to class and paying halfway attention, I'm still going to get a good grade in the class. That's just the way that it was at the middle school age. So like it was more of just, I think it kind of built into my identity a little bit because, you know, I had just embraced, oh, I'm just a problem child. And then once I maybe started to embrace, hey, wait, maybe I can be an athlete. Maybe I can, you know, become successful at this and work hard at it. And I did. Like my years between 6th and 8th grade, you know, by the time I was in 8th grade, I was practicing with the varsity team of the high school. You know what I mean? So like
Yep.
I was really getting involved in the seriousness of the sport, which I think helped boost my identity, my encouragement to have a motivation like, hey, the soccer team isn't against me. I might have thought my teachers in the past were like against me or something, but then I'm like, man, maybe not everybody is against me, you know, and starting to get on the team. The team atmosphere definitely helped a lot. So,
Man, it's interesting to hear somebody talk about how quickly and you know, I want to use the word easily, a kid's identity can be shifted to a new reality. You know, where you can go from this place of, you know, I am the problem child, and then all of a sudden you experience just a little bit of success somewhere else, and now it's I am, and you know, a talented athlete on the soccer team.
yeah. I mean, it's literally for somebody like with my personality, I'm either 100% over here or 100% over there. And with all of this energy that I've constantly had, it's like that can either be shifted the wrong direction, which is going to end up in trouble, or maybe just that one person to step in and say an encouraging word or to open up a door for me that'll just shift me to be going the straight path with the same amount of energy, the same amount of force and passion. And that's why it can flip, you know, flip the switch so quickly.
Man, it's so true. And a lot of those kids that have that I've, you know, just looking back and thinking about those kids, and I have all these like faces coming to mind now. A
Mhm.
lot of those kids who were most challenging in terms of their behavior in class really were all in or all out kind of kids.
Yeah.
You know, and that's the thing. Like, if you don't have them in, if you don't have the relationship built with that kid, they're all out. But
Yeah.
once you have that solid relationship, that firm foundation solidly in place upon which you can construct a deeper relationship and deliver the
Mhm.
content academic, then man, they are all in for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey man, so I know this is where things, you know, just because we talked before, I know things get a little bit crazy here. So you're the star soccer kid, you're passing classes, you're doing your thing, and then you go to high school.
Yeah. So ninth grade, I got the opportunity to go to play in England. So I went to England with my team and we traveled, you know, a couple different countries out there in Europe. And that was life changing. I'm still on the, you know, full soccer pursuit of being a pro athlete. And then I found myself in a new school in ninth grade. And I actually stayed in this school for the next 4 years. So this is my final school, Tab High School in Yorktown, Virginia. So like, you know, becoming a soccer player, already having a community within the school, I think really I just was still lacking a true identity in who I was. The same me that was willing to do whatever I had to do to try to impress people when I was in middle school because of my low self-esteem and because of my low belief in myself. And honestly, thinking that, you know, for one, I thought my parents didn't love me because they made me take the medication. I thought they didn't love me the way I am. I thought my teachers must not love me because they're the reason I'm on this medication too. And then ultimately, I didn't love myself. So I think my lack of love for myself led to me overcompensating, trying to be everybody's favorite, wanting to be the class clown, wanting to be the most popular. So in high school, ninth, 10th, 11th grade, I become like one of the most popular people in the whole school. I'm a varsity athlete. You know, I was well known. I got caught up in the party scene though, and that was a really big slip for me of getting involved with the smoking and drinking, and things just went downhill from that point, even academically. Like I had never even struggled academically and I just didn't even care. 11th grade and senior year was so bad for me. I didn't even go to school. I finished classes online and graduated online because my depression and anxiety was so bad with just dealing with my what turned into an addiction with the drugs and stuff and the partying. So that whole lifestyle just it kind of swarmed. It sucked me up in high school.
You know what it is, man? Just listen to you talk, man. I just think about so many kids, and really those kids, And it might be the majority of them that it's that is such a tricky age, especially today. This is such a tricky world in which to grow up, and that trying to figure out who you are and your identity. You have so much information coming into you through social media, and they're constantly scrolling through trying to figure out who they are based on looking at other people's lives. It's almost as if kids are waiting for an identity to be bestowed upon them, and waiting for
Absolutely.
some adult that loves them and has that relationship to help them see it and show them to them, and help them discover what they're good at and who they are and what they're capable of. And that's the exciting part of education, of being a teacher, being in front of those kids, of accepting the honor and privilege of standing before those kids and being the one to bestow that identity in those kids who need it the most, are searching for it.
Man, if you want to go super deep, that just ties into my belief that, like, it really starts at an early age with a father. I think a lot of identity issues, especially in young men, start with a father wound. Maybe it's not getting the affirmation or not being told that you're special or you're proud. Like, maybe you've got a father that's working all the time, or a father that's not around. You know what I mean? And then growing up with that, the teacher really has the opportunity to play a father figure, or to play a mother figure to a child that may not be getting the correct support that I believe they should be getting in their home life. And so these kids are showing up needing and desiring something else, like, that they're not getting to fill that void. And teachers have an opportunity to kind of play a role in that.
Yeah, I think it's more than an opportunity. In fact, man, I always say, years and years ago, back in the 70s and 80s, maybe even the 90s, that was a time teaching where, like, I would hear teachers regularly say, I'm not here to be anybody's friend. I'm not here to be anybody's mother. I'm not here to be their father. I'm here to be their teacher.
Are you serious?
And like nowadays, it's like, listen, like that's where we're at.
Yes.
This is what they need.
That's
And it's
wild.
through that we can deliver some information and stuff some knowledge into that kid's noggin when we have that relationship in place.
That's crazy, bro. I wasn't around back then, so I wouldn't be able to vouch for that, but that's insane. I'm glad things have changed.
Compared to me, man, you are brand new to the planet.
Yeah, right.
And man, so after high school, and so from what you're saying, like, you didn't even finish.
I mean, not in school. I finished taking classes online.
All right. And online wasn't even a thing when I was in high school. Dude, I was online meant you were on a calculator, or maybe I think we had an abacus. I don't know.
You were on a beeper.
Right. That was after high school.
A Palm Pilot.
No, dude, that's decades after I was in high school.
Oh, okay.
All right. That's so, but we had a phone you had to dial with your finger to go all the way around a circle, man. And you hated people had zeros in their phone number because it took so long.
I just see those at antique shops.
Yeah. Hey, man. So when you are done in high school and things are falling apart, and you're trying to figure out your identity, and really it sounds like you're seeking attention, and oftentimes when you seek attention, that involves doing stuff that's just unhealthy and not who you really are. And then you finish high school, and like at this point, like, what do you do?
I jumped straight into, actually, I had this dream that, like, I'm going to be a psychiatrist. Like, I want to study ADHD specifically and find out what this thing is that has been crippling me my whole life. So I connected with a psychologist that graduated from a school in Vermont, and studied, psychology and stuff. And I was like, man, I want to go do that. Well, that lasted about one semester until I was like, man, I'm so tired of school. I can't do school, and then I just jumped straight into the workforce. So I jumped straight into the workforce, started working, was the youngest person in my whole work team, working at the Naval Shipyard in Newport News, Virginia, where I'm from, and spent a good year and a half out there. And that's what I did. I pretty much jumped straight into the workforce.
And then at what point did you find this talent that you have with music and impacting the lives of kids and affecting their hearts and their minds and their soul? Like, where did that happen?
So it started with music. I remember writing music at the shipyard when I was walking around there, And it was a talent that I had, but I didn't have a belief that it could really take me anywhere necessarily. But then as I just continued to write, people were like, man, you really got something here. And I started to actually believe, you know what, I can do this. And just through a series of failures and just realizing that I need to step into something new, I made a decision to leave Virginia and move out to Texas with no friends, no family, and just really kind of start from the bottom in a fresh perspective of life. And I was 22 years old, actually 21, almost 22 when I did that. And then from there, it was just a slow climb from sleeping on a hardwood floor air mattress, to connecting with, really well-known artists and producing my own album and signing a record deal, and eventually doing shows across the country and the world. And that really happened just progressively, man. I mean, I've been doing it now full time for probably maybe over 2 years now.
Yeah. And dude, you stand before thousands upon thousands of kids, and you speak life into them, and through music and through your talk, and you do this. I mean, I've seen you do like a dozen shows a week, which is crazy. And you go school to school to school, and tell me about it now. I gotta, it's almost as if, man, I didn't live your life, but I have to wonder, does it feel like it was all worth it? Like growing up and the challenges and how hard it was when you were a kid, because now you get to, because of that experience, you get to give back to other kids and have an exponential difference in their life. Does it almost feel worth it?
Absolutely. There's no almost about it. It was painful to go through, but I mean, I'd like to think that if I had a button to press where I could just have a perfect childhood and just live some normal life, or just go through it and have a story to tell and pursue that route, I would like to say that I would be right where I'm at right now.
Yeah. Hey, when you're in schools and you because of what I do, like I know for sure when you're there up on the stage in front of the kids and you're impacting lives, those kids come up and talk to you afterwards. And I've seen them, and they want to take pictures with you,
Yeah.
and they send you messages and write you letters. And what are some of like, tell me a story about a kid that you met on the road today.
I got one from today. Yeah. Right. So today at my second assembly, I ask at the end of my assembly who wants to DJ while I rap, because I show the kids my music at the very end after I've covered all the substance and stuff and built up the anticipation, tell them all the famous people I've met and, been on stage with and stuff. And they're just dying to hear my music by the end of the assembly. So I started asking, like, who wants to play these tracks for me so I don't have to run back and forth to my computer? And, every single kid raises his hands. But I saw this one guy at the very top row of the bleachers, and we were in a gymnasium at the very top row, and he was a bit thicker, you could say, a bit of a bigger kid, and just seemed like he, just from appearance, like, man, he would possibly be able to be bullied. You know what I mean? Like he would be an easier target than some to make fun of or something. So something in my heart just told me I need to pick him. So I picked him from the very top, and he took his time getting down. He went back to my computer and he played the tracks, and I had the kids screaming his name and going crazy for him. And he came and saw me when kids were doing autographs and pictures at the end. And he was one of the last kids. He waited till the very end, and he came up to me, he had tears in his eyes, and he started crying. And he said, I want to thank you so much for allowing me to do that, because I feel like I'm not very good at anything. But doing that, like, it showed me that I really can do something with myself. And he started crying, just broke down in tears. And I just gave him the biggest hug. I was like, man, that is just the sweetest thing, that broke my heart. So that happened today in a good way. But like, I just, that's an amazing story right there to me.
Hey man, listen, you are an amazing story, and man, I can't thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. And the work that you do in schools across the nation, man, it's just phenomenal. And to see it firsthand, to see it myself, and how much the kids connect with you, how much they love the message, and how much you how deeply you sink it into who they are and the heart and the soul. It's just impressive, man. And thank you so much for all you do.
Thank you, man. I appreciate for what you do, and the lessons that you've taught me, the mentorship that you've given me, man. I'm super thankful for you and the platform that you use to change kids' lives as well, man, and teachers as well.
Hey, listen, man, is for a school that wants to connect with you and chat with you, how do they get a hold of you?
Man, they can go to austinassemblies.com. It's that simple, www.austinassemblies.com.
And it's all right there.
It's all right there.
All right, man. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Much love, brother.
I love you, brother. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.